What is good, all of our listeners and viewers? Welcome to another episode of Games and Groceries. My name is Adam.
And I'm Liz.
And we're here to keep you from insanity. Woo! We are here with episode 97 with our special guest, Dayeanne Hutton. And we're going to be talking about emotional performances in video games. But before we get to that segment, we've got some other segments for you. Yes, we do. That's right, Dayeanne Hutton's coming, the Wizard of Weird of gaming and gabbing.
Yeah.
It's really going to be a fun time, but
it is.
Yeah, I forgot what number we were on.
Yeah, you did.
So 97, which reminds me, we're coming up on episode 100.
Woo-hoo.
We're coming up on episode 100, which we're doing an Ask Us Anything podcast. Ask Us Anything. That's going to be the big topic. So if you have a question and you do not want to forget it, just send it to us.
Yeah.
Just want to remind you, social media at Gaming Groceries. You can tweet us there. You can DM us on Instagram, Games and Groceries, all one word, or email us, contact@gamesandgroceries.com or gamesandgroceries@gmail.com. There you go. You have 4 ways to send us your questions. Isn't that all American right there?
Convenient.
But yeah, so if you have a question, just send it to us and we'll catalog it. Coming up for episode 100. That's going to be May 11th. Be there or don't. I don't know.
Be beautiful.
Or be beautiful. Be a square. I don't know. Liz, how you doing?
I'm good.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't prepare anything today.
We never prepare.
Well, you do. I don't.
That's true.
Sometimes I prepare, like I think about, if when Adam answers that, I'm going to say this. And usually those weeks you don't ask me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not crying. Makeup usually, it makes my eyes water. I don't know why.
You should start with that. Whenever I ask you, how you doing? I'm not crying. So
I'm not
I count
crying, so we're winning.
Yeah.
No, I just wanted people who are watching on YouTube, I don't want them to think I'm crying. My eyes water after I put makeup on, and I didn't wear makeup to work. I just put it on for the video.
Dang. Well, if you're new here, if you're new to Games and Groceries, welcome, by the way. How you doing? You're awesome. Just want to let you know that we do have timestamps both in the audio and the video version of this podcast. So if you just want to fast forward to a certain segment, guess what? You're free to do so. Choose to do whatever you want to this podcast, but we do have timestamps available for you. But this is a strange time. Strange.
It is a strange time.
Yeah. Like a lot of people are out of work.
Apparently, the only Chinese food place that's open is around the corner from us.
Yeah, in our county, basically.
Yeah,
that's what I heard people say.
The only Chinese food place open anywhere near us.
Yeah, it's weird. But there are weird times, but we're here to give you content. We're here to give you regular content. We have the Games and Groceries podcast, which you're watching or listening to right now. Mm-hmm. We have video essays coming to the YouTube channel once a month. We just want to make them as good as they can be while we're working full-time jobs. It's what we do. But if you want even more content, check out the description down below. You should check out our other show, our other podcast called What's the Biz with Adam and Liz, where it is an unscripted, talk about anything kind of podcast. We have 2 episodes out right now. It's available on Spotify. As of now, I'm trying to contact Anchor to get it on more platforms. Don't know what that's about, but here we are.
I remember going through this when we started this podcast.
I know.
I was like, this is ridiculous. And now I'm just like, it'll happen.
But yeah, so it's available on Anchor and Spotify as of now.
Yeah.
But it will be available pretty soon. But check out What's the Biz. But you're here for the big segments here. But, we already said about our social medias. At Gaming Groceries on Twitter. I'm at Ace the Grocer.
And I'm at Journey First.
And you can follow us on Instagram, Games and Groceries, all one word. Check out our Facebook. We're on Facebook. And you can check out our website, gamesandgroceries.com, where you can listen to all the podcasts from the website, as well as find out where you can listen to the audio versions of the website, as well as read some articles I've written in the past. And if you're so inclined, definitely hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you know when all these podcasts and the monthly videos come out, the monthly video essays come out with ease because you already subscribed and you hit that notification bell. And if you get to the end, you enjoyed what you saw, you enjoyed what you heard, definitely give it a like and a share so that more people know about the Games and Groceries show. And so that, we can finally get popular and we can say to our high school sweethearts, that's her right there. That's my high school sweetheart. Hey, I made it. I don't know what that was.
I don't know what that was either. I feel like your mouth is dry now.
We should just go to our first segment.
Movie Minutes.
Movie Minutes is a segment that we talk about the movies that we saw in the past week, whether it be on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, not in theaters at this point in time. And we like to review it and rank it, and we like to recommend it or don't recommend it. And this week's movie is actually coming to you from Netflix. It is another Netflix original, and it is another movie, 2 in a row, that has captions. You have to read through captions. But
it's in another language.
Yes, it is called Tigertail, not Tiger King.
No relation to Tiger King.
Tigertail, all one word. But it's on Netflix. It is directed by Alan Yang, who also was the creator, I believe, and also the director of Master of None, which is also on Netflix.
One of Adam's favorite shows.
Yeah, I love Master of None, so I was like, yeah, let's do it. But Liz, opening thoughts.
It was different.
Yeah.
It's not a different idea. It's a different way of showing that idea.
Yeah.
But it was good. Wouldn't say it's anything like amazingly special. Definitely not like Parasite.
Yeah. Which is what we reviewed last week.
So, but it was good.
Yeah.
Nothing, like I said, nothing amazingly special. It was just an enjoyable watch. That's about it.
Yeah. So my first note here is that Alan Yang really stepped out of his comfort zone in this way, because he's directed comedies mostly. And with that, I can see, I mentioned Master of None before. And when you watch this, if you're a fan of Master of None, you definitely feel those vibes. Definitely Andrew Yang, not the political campaign Andrew Yang, Alan Yang. But Alan Yang came into this, and he definitely used elements of Master of None, what he learned from that show, and he formed it into this script, and I definitely felt that. It also has vibes of Unravel, the video game with Yarny. Which,
the music is very similar.
There he is, little Yarny.
Little Yarny.
But yeah, so definitely the music, like you said.
Yeah.
Music and the relations to family dynamics and all that, and the importance of family ties. It's very beautiful in that way. The script is really, really well written.
Yeah, the script is really good. And like you mentioned, this is his first dive into a dramatic movie. And you can kind of tell because it does hit in those dramatic tones, but it doesn't dive deep. Not as deep, because I live on drama shows. Yeah. And you know that. I like drama shows with a decent comic relief, but pretty dramatic shows. Grey's Anatomy. Anyway. Yeah. So, so to me, it didn't feel, for a drama movie, it didn't dive deep enough into the drama. It just skimmed the surface of drama. It wasn't funny. It had its comic relief, but it just wasn't deep enough in the drama part for me. I didn't get enough detail.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I agree that there was something missing to it. But again, Alan Yang, this is a new wheelhouse for him. It's not really his repertoire. It was good for what it was, but definitely doesn't scratch that itch. But the other note that I have is that in the whole screenplay and the way it was filmed, the way it was edited, it uses juxtaposition very well.
I don't know what that means.
Juxtaposition is in film, it's to show two differing sides, but comparing it to one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, how it compares to the same one. So kind of an example of juxtaposition is, you see me, or even juxtaposition is when the main character is young and it switches right over to when he's old.
Okay, so the different timelines.
Well, also the same timeline because...
Oh, well, yeah, same timeline, different time periods.
No.
What? I'm confused.
So not even just the same time periods, but also the juxtaposition of him and his daughter. Yeah. How they share the same life. And it uses the editing and the way it's filmed, the way it's contrasted. It contrasts, but then it puts it back together. And it uses that very well to say that the father's life is similar to the daughter's life, but at the same time, they're on two different paths. And
two completely different upbringings.
Right. But that's where, like I said, the juxtaposition comes in, where you're just like, you're on two different paths, quote unquote, but it's the same path.
Yeah.
It's crazy the way it's filmed. And I love how they filmed like separate lives, but the same results.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I really enjoyed it. I honestly think that if it was done by someone who has a lot of experience in drama, it would have been amazing. But since this was done by someone who's just stepping into it, it was still, like I said, it's still a very good movie.
Yeah.
I didn't get the detail that I wanted from it. It didn't dive deep into feelings. It's just like, he's like this and she's like this because he's like this. That's it.
And that brings us to our final point. The ending was rushed.
See, I didn't feel like it was rushed.
It felt like
I liked the ending.
My friend, what's up, John? How you doing? I told him to watch Parasite, and he told me to watch Tigertail, and I was like, I'm going to be the winner of this recommendation. Parasite is so much better. But, hi, John. You lost. But that's the thing, is that me and John talked about this a little bit, and the movie is only an hour and a half, but the movie felt like it ended too soon. And it could have used at least 15 more minutes to kind of expand on the ending.
I agree with that, because they had to make the ending a more artistic style ending rather than a conversational ending.
The best way I can describe the ending, it's not disappointing. I told you this, that the ending happened and it felt like I was holding in a sneeze. I was like, okay, that's how we're ending. It's just like, I don't know. It just feels like you're holding in a sneeze, but it's not disappointing. It's just like, oh, that's the ending.
I didn't mind it as much as you did. Like, I get what you mean, but I also don't mind it.
Yeah. But you don't criticize movies as much as I do.
No.
Yeah. But
and we've said that before.
But that brings us to our final rating of the movie out of 10, and we rated it the same.
Yes, we did.
What did you rate it?
I gave it an 8.
I gave it a 10 out of 10. No, I'm just kidding. I gave it an 8.
Yeah.
An 8 is it's a solid film.
Yeah. I my way of explaining it, if you want to watch it, is if you're interested in this movie, definitely watch it.
Yeah.
If you have no real desire to watch this movie, then you don't need to bother.
Yeah.
But if you're even just a little interested, watch it. It's not a waste of time at all. Well said.
Same thing for me. It's that it's fine. It's an hour and a half. It's on Netflix. You're in quarantine, so
what else are you gonna do?
But Alan Yang did it. If you love Master of None, you're gonna love this movie. You can definitely tell there's elements of Master of None in this movie, and I think he did a good job for what he had. And that's all I really have to say to it.
And the dad in this movie is the same dad from Parasite.
That was weird. That juxtaposition. No, I'm just kidding.
Not the same character, same real person actor.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's cool. He did like 2 really good movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, this is called Tigertail. It's on Netflix. We gave it an 8 out of 10. Definitely watch it for yourself. I recommend it, and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Not as good as Parasite, but it's still pretty good.
But that's hard to beat. So
true. So let's talk about video games. We're a video game podcast. We're not really a movie podcast. So we're here for the game. So let's just jump into our second segment.
Top 3 Gaming News.
The top 3 gaming news is the gaming news that we saw in the past week, and we like to rank it 3, 2, 1, just to give you a condensed version of what's going on in the gaming industry. Here we are. The number 3 gaming news is that I'm growing back my beard. I'm already tired of my mustache, and it's growing right back. I promise you. That's not really gaming news now, is it?
No, not really.
Yeah, I already got tired of the mustache. I was trimming my beard, and I was trying to keep it symmetrical, and I was like, I'm tired of this, growing back the beard. So probably next episode, you'll see a nice little fuzzy beard. So fuzzy beard. But yeah, we're here for the gaming news, and let's start with number 3. Number 3 gaming news.
Okay.
Hey Liz.
Yeah.
You have a Switch, right?
I do.
Can it run Crysis?
I don't know.
Oh, well, it can, because Crysis, the very first Crysis, is getting a remaster, and it's coming on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, the Switch, and of course, if it wasn't getting a PC port, I would just cease to exist. That would be no point. But yes, Crysis was once known as the gaming PC test, right? So you built a gaming PC back in the day, and people would ask you, well, can it run Crysis? Because the engine behind Crysis, known as Crytek, is that Crytek? Crytek, it was so powerful at the time that it really tested your gaming PC's capabilities. So that was the phrase, can it run Crysis, came from. And so, therefore, the game looks gorgeous. It always was. It always looked gorgeous to me. But now, Crysis is re-releasing the original. Now, let me bring up the quotes right here. But Crysis is also coming to the Switch. This is really interesting. But let me read this quote. Crysis Remaster will bring new graphic features, high-quality textures. I like how it says high quality and not 4K texture. But whatever. High quality textures and ray tracing. This is the interesting part. Ray tracing to the original game, according to details from the official site. A release date was not revealed, but the original publisher, Electronic Arts, does not appear to be involved with the re-release. We've reached out to Crytek representatives for more details. Now, ray tracing. It's coming to Xbox One, which does not have ray tracing. I'm surprised with that. That's not coming to Series X or PlayStation 5. Mm-hmm. It might, but then it's coming to the Switch and it says ray tracing, high quality textures. Okay, but that might be just for PC.
Maybe.
Yeah. What do you think? Any thoughts?
I know nothing about Crysis.
Well, here's an interesting factoid about Crysis. There's no release dates made about Crysis. So what I'm thinking...
Stop, that's making me itchy.
I'm poking her with a pan. But what I'm thinking, and what the article says, by the way, all the articles linked down below, the article states that Crysis, I forgot about this, is that it takes place in August of 2020.
My birthday.
Yeah. So I wonder if that's a release date, because it says coming soon. The month is now April.
Definitely won't be my birthday, because my birthday is the last day of August.
Yeah.
Hint, hint.
Oh my goodness. Wombat's birthday is coming up in a couple weeks.
Nice.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Wombat. You poop in cubes, apparently. Wombats in real life, they poop in cubes, according to Frozen 2. But so Crysis took place in August 2020, so I wonder if that's the release date.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's all I have to say is that this is really cool. It's coming to the Switch, which is weird and awesome at the same time. But yeah, if you have never experienced Crysis, which was important for gaming history, now you can experience it without building up a huge rig. But in today's standards, you can play Crysis on your regular standard gaming laptop, probably at this point.
Woohoo!
But that brings us to our number 2 gaming news. I'm very excited about Crysis. Oh, one last thing. Remaster Project Snowblind. That's all I'm asking for. Remaster Project Snowblind. I want that remastered. But moving on to the number 2 gaming news, that's never going to happen. Number 2 is that Sony launched a play-at-home initiative by offering free games and funding for independent developers. So the country is amidst the coronavirus right now. We're all staying inside except for ya boy and ya girl because we're still working.
We are not essential.
We are not essential.
But we're at work.
I'm still making money, and that's all I'm happy about. But that's the thing is that we're stuck, and a lot of companies are putting it out there that here's some things to keep you at home, keep you sane, and Sony is stepping in with that. Sony announced that they are actually giving away Uncharted and Journey for free until May 15th, I believe. Let me bring up this quote right here. According to a post on the PlayStation blog, the games are a part of the company's new play-at-home initiative that intends to prevent the spread of COVID-19. And that's the thing, is that Journey and Uncharted 1 through 3, they're available until March 15th. I forgot to download them. Well, I already have Uncharted, but I want to re-download Journey. I don't have that for the PlayStation 4, and I love Journey. But yeah, to stop the spread of COVID-19, and includes a generous $10 million fund for indie developers to help support them in this difficult time.
That's amazing.
That's great. That's fantastic.
That's nice.
Go Sony.
Good job, guys.
Now, huge companies are taking massive opportunities to really help out people who are suffering in this time. And it's a bad time. It's a really depressing time right now. I do not like living in this time frame, but this is where we are, and companies are stepping up and they're doing their part. I love it. Any other thoughts?
No, it's a great idea. It's good for them. It's just good. It's great.
Yeah. Good for you, Sony.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of you. And this is actually helping us a lot. I love Journey. If you have not experienced Journey, you have not experienced Journey.
No idea what we're talking about.
It's really good. I think you'll like it. It's an indie game from the maker of Abzu. But, first she made Journey. It's really good.
Gotcha.
I love Journey. I don't know how to explain it.
Okay.
It's like a fever dream. But I'm really excited to get to the number one gaming news.
Okay, because I don't know what it is.
I didn't tell you, because originally the number one gaming news was going to be Sony. Apparently, the PS5 is going to be on shortage, only going to making 5 to 6 million units.
Yeah. I'm trying really hard not to look at the laptop either.
Sony is actually, so here's the number one gaming news.
Okay.
Sony is developing a companion robot for the PS5 that senses your emotions. First thoughts? It can sense your fear. I'm not kidding you.
That's really cool. When you said a companion robot, I was like, what? And then you said that can sense your emotion. I was like, that could be interesting.
I think that's so creepy. We're going to get into it because I have this
I mean, really everything today is creepy. I'm not even going there. I just think it's kind of cool that you can make a robot that can sense my emotions.
I want to explain this more because the more I read into this, the more I'm creeped out.
Do you have to have this robot to have the PlayStation 5?
No.
Okay.
But listen to my words here.
Okay.
Patent really has been released for a robot that sits next to you and is a big cloud-like creature with only eyes and no mouth. It has no mouth.
Okay, is it creepy eyes though? Because if it's like little lovey eyes, I don't care. That's really cute.
Wait.
I'll make a mouth for it.
It will. Wait for it. It will sit next to you and play games with you. Isn't that nice? It will play games as the opponent.
It's like a little friend.
The robot can sense fear. It will actually read your heart rate, your sweat levels, and it will sense your fear. It is being developed that it can scream.
Yeah, that's not going to help. My fear is going to scare the crap out of me.
And we're coming to the quote. This is a long quote, but okay. Let's read this. This comes from IGN. This is down below in the description. The patent explains that the robot has a love index.
Okay.
Which will be affected by how the user speaks to the robot in moments of tension. When asked to be charged, it will ask you to be charged. If the player doesn't charge the robot quickly, it will evaluate that the player does not love it and will react in a similar fashion if it's kicked around instead of being stroked. Or if the user tells the robot that it's being noisy. If it feels unpopular, it will no longer empathize with the player during gameplay. A conscious action made to make the user reflect on their attitude and treat the robot more kindly in the future. It can also help improve life rhythm and will tell users to go to bed.
Was this article put out on April 1st?
No, it was put out today. As of filming, we're filming this on Friday, which our guest, thank you for coming on here, guest who cannot hear us at this point.
My robot wouldn't like me because I often tell the TV to shut up. Like when I'm playing games, I'm shut up.
It is going to sit next to you. It is going to feel abuse. It is going to scream.
I feel like this is how the robots take over. Like this is how
so
it's going.
Weird.
This robot, this thing right here, this is how it's gonna start.
I don't know if this is real. This can't be real. And if it comes to market, I'll be like, what is happening?
I mean, it could be good for the kids who are bullies and mean and don't think of others when their game is compromised because a little robot is mad at you. Maybe it'll teach you to think about what you say first. But
the robot feels abuse.
That would break my heart, honestly. I don't need another little thing to feel emotions and feel bad about. Like, I worry about my dog when he's just laying there sleeping.
Yeah.
So I don't really need another small object in my house.
Mm-hmm.
Me worrying about, and it's like it's a robot, so it's like, is it listening when it's turned off? Can it tell that I'm talking bad about it?
I don't know.
Because I don't. This is how the robots take over, guys. Don't get this, please.
It's so
if you
weird.
do get it, tell me what it's like. Because like at first I was like, oh, that could be cool, and when you're like, oh no, it's like it can be a jerk if you're mean to it. Okay, never mind.
No, it feels abusive. It feels unpopular, and will like feel like you kicked it around. It won't be mean to you. It will feel like...
I know, but I'm saying like it will react in that way, which means when you're playing games, if you're playing games with it, it's not going to care how you're doing.
Yeah, like...
I don't know.
If this is a joke, and by the time we get to... This will release on Monday, and you're like, oh, Adam, it's not real. Thank God.
Yeah, right?
If I'm being an idiot right now, and it's actually not a real thing... I'm so happy to be an idiot, but if this is real, this is so weird. Why?
I'm excited to see how they get this to work.
Oh my goodness! But that's the top 3 gaming news. Oh my lord! Crysis is getting a remaster. Sony is leading a play at home initiative, and Sony is releasing a creepy little robot. So that's really cool. But yeah, if you have any thoughts about this, write in comments down below. If you're watching this on YouTube, or tweet at us. What are your thoughts here? Am I being an idiot? Was the thing not actually real? Please let me know so that I can sleep at night.
Yeah.
But with that said, I think it's time to bring on our guest.
I think so too.
We have the Wizard of Weird. We have the person behind Gaming and Gabbing. We have Dayeanne Hutton, who is also the voice actress behind Kate Marsh and Alyssa Anderson, and Juliet of Life is Strange. So let's just bring her on. We're going to be talking about emotional performances in games. Let's just bring her on. Let's bring our guest with our final segment.
Coffee time.
Alrighty, everybody, we are back with our very special guest, the Wizard of Weird, the one and only, Dayeanne Hutton. Hello, Dayeanne. How you doing?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
So, Dayeanne, introduce yourself. What should we know about you? Why are you called the Wizard of Weird? Why am I introducing you even more? Take the reign here.
Okay, I'll do my best. So,
Okay.
Hello everyone. My name is Dayeanne Hutton. I am an actor and a streamer. I also have my own gaming podcast as well, where I am the Wizard of Weird, along with my co-host Amber Plaster, who is our rogue of realness. I am a voice actor who was in Life is Strange. I stream full time, and I'm just a professional nerd.
Yeah, I love
Sounds
that title.
Great.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I caught Gaming and Gabbing not too long ago, and I really love the energy you put.
Oh, thank you so much.
The very first episode I listened to, I read into I forget how you said his last name, Apostolitis, because you say Apasta Elitist.
Yes.
Yes. Nick Apostolitis, and you're just like. Got this energetic questions, like what's your favorite house? Who's your house in Game of Thrones? I was like, I love it. It's fantastic. If you haven't listened to Gaming and Gabbing yet, definitely check it out. It's available everywhere. But Dayeanne, again, thank you for coming on the show. Yeah. You're awesome.
Oh my gosh, you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
that's actually how he taught me how to say his name. He was like, if you think of it like Apasta Elitis, it's a lot easier to remember.
Yeah, you see it, and it's a very Greek name,
Yes,
and it's just like anytime you see a Greek name, I start to sweat.
Yeah.
Quite intimidating, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like Giannis Antetokounmpo in the NBA, and I was like, I don't know. Just
You
like,
do that pretty well.
oh, thank you. But yeah, so we have Dayeanne on here. We're just going to call her Day or the Wizard of Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're going to be talking about emotional performances in games because, Day, as you say, you were in Life is Strange as Kate Marsh and Alyssa and also Juliet, if I'm remembering right.
You are remembering right. Those are my 3 girls.
Nice. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit too, but I want to check into a general topic. But before we get started, we're in a pandemic right now. And I just want to check in with you. We all want to know, like, in the West Coast, how are things? How are you? How are you all taking this in?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm in LA in California. And I feel like, I don't know what it's like in other places, but we get like updates on our phone from like our governor sends stuff like, check out this link. This is our update. We kind of got shut down, I feel, pretty early comparatively to a bunch of states. And I am lucky in that I already worked from home prior to this pandemic, so my life has changed very little in that aspect. I still stream from home, do all my social content, creative content from home, and I already didn't love going out of the house. You know, it was like social obligations. I would have fun once I was there, but I never really wanted to go most of the time. So, and I'm lucky that I live in a great place with my fiance, and so I'm very lucky in that sense. So I've had things easier than some people. And other than that, I just kind of try and stay off the news because it's a garbage fire, and
I agree.
I just do my thing, and I pretend like this. I mean, this is normal now. This is the new normal. Once this is over, it's not going to go back to how it was. It's gonna be different. So I'm letting the old ways go. I'm like, here we are now.
Yeah, it is very weird because we started to think about what's going to be the new normal, that everybody keeps asking, when is it going to go back to normal? And it's just, I don't know. I don't think it ever will be. Even sports, it's going to be a different normal. It's going to be very odd. But it's just very weird.
I saw something, I think someone sent it to me. It was a video on Instagram someone sent me of some life coach people that that's what they were saying. They were like, you know, it's not going to go back to normal, so you need to let that idea go. And I got sent that very early on, and I was like, that's a really good point. I can get on board with that. And it is a lot easier not being just like, oh man, I wish things were normal. This is it. And so make the best of it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, we're glad you're doing okay, though. Like you said, California probably shut down the early. I still remember when San Francisco went to a stay-at-home, and
they were
I started to get terrified. Yeah, I think they were.
Well, because we had like huge outbreaks. It was like us in New York. Yeah. It was like California was getting a bunch, and New York was getting a bunch. So they were
Washington
both like,
State was huge.
Home.
Yeah. Like, and I remember hearing that. We're over in Pennsylvania in the East Coast, and oh man, I just remember thinking like, okay, this is what's going to happen. Like you said, New York was next, and it was that much closer to home, and I was like, okay, here we are, new normal.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful. Like I mentioned, I'm here quarantined with my fiance, and we had literally like days before the real hard kind of you have to stay at home unless it's essential kind of came down on us. We had been down in Orange County with my parents looking at wedding venues, and we picked a place and booked it like days before this lockdown went.
Oh no!
And so we were like, oh my God, we got in just in time. Everyone's rescheduling their weddings, so next year's going to be crazy. So it's a weird thing to be planning a wedding at this time. It's like,
Yeah. Did you pick a date at all? Because we know from experience, wedding planning is a nightmare. But what was the date originally?
Oh, we didn't have to change it. We got engaged in February. So this is the crazy thing. So late February, we were in England with my mom on a trip and came home like February 28th, or no, like the 24th. And, you know, 2 weeks later, we're in lockdown. It's wild. But yeah, we picked a date for next April. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, because I can't imagine planning a wedding around this time. We planned our wedding in 2016, so nothing was going on.
Just normal life.
Just normal life.
Definitely. We have
I
friends.
was in college. when I was planning our wedding.
That is something.
That was fun. Senior year and planning a wedding was delightful.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've had friends and my cousin both had weddings that have now been pushed.
Oh my goodness.
So it's just crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, if I can segue this, speaking of hard emotions right now.
Oh, good segue.
Oh, thank you.
Good job, babe.
I am the best at segues.
Oh yeah, you're super smooth.
Thank you. But yeah, so we're talking about emotions in video games in this episode. And Day, I definitely want to bring you on for this because I feel like you're an expert in this almost. And I want to really ask, let's really define this right now.
Sure.
We've all experienced video games in here. How have video games affected us emotionally in the past? And Day, I want to hear from you first. How have video games impacted you emotionally?
Well, there are video games that have impacted me emotionally. I'm a little bit of a weirdo and I'm a very emotional person in life. But a lot of the times when things happen in movies or video games that are clearly meant to evoke emotion, I'm just like, okay. Like I feel it, but I'm not
hard.
I'm not like I get it. I'm moved by the piece, but I'm not like crying in that kind of sense.
Yeah, Liz, you're kind of the same way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you get that. You feel this weird pressure of like, I know they want me to be crying and I should probably be crying, but I'm not.
Yeah. Like I always feel like, oh, that's so sad. Like I feel sad, but at the same time, like people when I was in high school and college, they would like call me a monster because I didn't cry at certain movies or certain songs. I'm just like, I don't. It's not real.
Yeah, that's not what makes me cry.
So yeah.
But here's the thing. I don't do well when horses die. So
yeah,
I definitely cried in The Last of Us.
Ooh.
It's like animal deaths.
Spoiler alert.
Animal deaths really get me.
Same. Dogs for me for the most part.
Yeah. There's another video game with another animal death that I won't spoil because it's not as old as The Last of Us. I've seen it multiple times and I cry every time. I'm like, no, why?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and then recently I played Ori and the Blind Forest, which made me want to bang my head against the wall in terms of gameplay, but story-wise, I cried several times.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. Like one thing, it does invoke a lot of emotions, like anger, but
yes,
it's definitely a good game like that. No, like I like what you say that if it's trying too hard to like pull your heart, it's just kind of like
yeah.
I feel that. Liz, you definitely felt that before.
Yeah, like I said, when I'm playing games or watching movies, I don't cry. It's very hard to make me cry over those things, but like I definitely feel emotion. I remember talking to you a couple weeks ago and I said, it's so weird when I'm watching things or playing things, I notice that my face is matching the ones on the screen.
Yeah.
And Adam says, yeah, you definitely do that. I was like, I know, like I don't know what it is in me. Like I just automatically my face goes to like the way that they are on screen, and it's like I'm smiling like ear to ear. They're smiling on screen. It is the weirdest thing.
You're just matching them. You're matching them.
Yeah. So I guess that's how I tone the emotion in movies and shows and video games and stuff like that. As far as in video games, really the deepest video game I play is Life is Strange.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that's just all emotional roller coaster all over the place.
Yeah.
So
are we?
As I'm sure you know.
Are we like? Does the audience? Can we spoil things in the game or no?
I would say.
I think we already have.
Yeah, I would say a majority of our audience is Life is Strange fans. Yeah. So
okay,
I think
so go ahead.
Because I was just gonna say when I first started streaming, I started by playing Life is Strange, and even though I was in the game, I didn't know what much about the story. Like, you don't know the other parts that aren't yours. Like, I didn't know what's happening. So in the scene when you find Rachel, I was just kind of shocked and staring at the screen, like, with a blank face. And I put those streams up on YouTube, and I've had people comment and be like, oh my God, she doesn't even care. Look at her lack of emotion, like, cold-hearted.
Oh my
like,
goodness.
And I'm like, I was shocked. I'm sorry I didn't, like, have the same emotion as you or express it well enough for your liking. But I'm sorry, I was in shock. But yet people expected you to break down crying. And I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know this character. Like, for me, it was like, I felt like after playing Before the Storm and then going back and playing the first one again, I felt more emotion. I was like, I'm sorry I'm not crying over this character we've literally never met.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Is that I felt more emotional connection to Rachel Amber after playing Before the Storm.
Yeah.
Because that's what we did. We played Life is Strange in chronological order.
Ooh.
So that we got to I mean, I'm like, you gotta know Rachel to know the impact of that game. I completely agree with that. And I think episode 4, I was going to say, like, nothing tore me apart more than episode 4 of Life is Strange. That's weird that it rhymed. Like, nothing tore me up more than episode 4.
Good job.
Make that a t-shirt. But
never mind.
I don't know. But yeah, like, there was just so many things that twisted you. But you know, like what you said, Day, is that you don't have to be this emotional wreck to do it.
Feel the emotion.
I felt like as soon as you said that, it reminded me back in I know it's, you know, kind of a casual answer, but Gears of War 3. I'm sorry, I'm going to spoil something if you haven't played Gears 3. But it's your punishment for not playing Gears 3.
I feel like it's old enough that doesn't matter.
Yeah. There's a scene in a really, really impactful death from a main character. And as he's about to die, he's crying out to his wife who died the game prior and saying, I'm coming back, Maria. I'm coming back. And immediately he dies. And I'm just in shock. I just sit there with a controller in hand, and the game pauses for you. Oh, like, it doesn't go on to the next level. It just it takes a pause.
That's great.
And I put that thing in controller, and I was like,
"Good job, Dad.
I'm done for today." I'll pick the, and that's just the middle of the game. Like that, you still have the rest of the game to go through. I'm just like, I can't.
I'm one of those freaks. People would probably hate me if I streamed, because I'm one of those weirdos that, like, when something very emotional or shocking happens, I have to, like, cover a smile.
Yeah.
Like, it's, like, really weird. Like, my muscles always want to smile in those scenes, even though you're not supposed to be smiling. And I'm not happy. It's just what my face does. And people would probably hate me for it.
Mm-hmm. It is
very weird.
Yeah.
It just happens. I can't explain it.
We do all kinds of weird things when we feel certain emotions.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, like, I can't imagine if I stream, people would probably tear me to pieces.
Or that would just be your thing. Like, watch her smile at all the wrong places.
Watch this lunatic smile when someone dies.
Yeah. And I feel like there's this pressure, and maybe you can speak on this more, Day. Since you were talking about how people didn't really like how you reacted, I feel like there's this pressure even when you're streaming, because I even listened to your streaming episode where you're kind of putting on this performance. It's still you're just putting on this performance for Twitch. And if there comes to be this emotional impact, do you feel that kind of pressure to give an emotional response?
I do. At this point, like, my viewers, my regulars, they know me. Like, I will apologize. Like, sometimes it feels like silly. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not crying. Like, all the other streamers, like, who freak out, and they're like, no, we know. Like, we can see your face going through emotions. So they're very forgiving. But I do feel a certain pressure to just heighten whatever I'm feeling. So it's not fake. It's like I'm feeling it, but I need to it's more of like, I need to let them see it. Because they can't necessarily see what I'm feeling. Because it is like a weirder medium. It's not like TV, where like cameras pick up your every little thing. You're this tiny little person in the corner of a game screen, so it's almost more like theater where you have to kind of take your emotion and make it a little bit bigger just so that it's conveyed across the screen. So I definitely feel that just on an entertainment level, like, well, you need to make this interesting, so like you can't just sit there.
Yeah. And it's not like you're lying to your audience, like you said. It's a heightened version of yourself.
Yeah.
I feel that all the time. Like I said this on our other show, What's the Biz? In the description down below if you want to check it out. But I even said that like even on Games and Groceries, we are heightening ourselves. Yeah. It's something that you have to be interested in, and so you have a heightened version of yourself. But that comes with the pressure.
I remember when, because before we were doing Let's Plays. And I'm not a talker. I mean, I yell at the screen occasionally, but as far as like when I'm playing, like I don't talk, and so I really struggle with that. And I would always be like, "I'm sorry, I'm not talking. I'm just really focused." Yeah. And I would like try and be like, "Oh," I would like try and like voice my anger, but at the same time, I would get so focused at one point, I'm like, "Oops, sorry, I forgot I was like recording."
Yeah, that is definitely something like having to constantly talk to yourself because people are watching. And what you were saying about being heightened on the podcast, it's especially important because people can't see you. So
Exactly. That's the thing, is that like you need to have this heightened voice, but not so heightened where it gets annoying.
Right.
Yeah. And speaking of performance, I'm sure that anybody listening to this episode, we have to talk about Kate Marsh for just a little bit.
Yes, we do.
But yeah, we're talking about performances here, and going into this now we were talking about how we perceive it, but I want to hear from you, Day, as someone who has performed as this emotional character of Kate Marsh. And by the way, here on stream, for your character, Alyssa, I'm sorry, I might have tortured Alyssa. I might have
like a lot.
I might have
like
rewound.
He really enjoys rewinding on Alyssa.
No.
He saves her after he's done.
Yeah, but I rewind the football to her face a million times. So, as Alyssa, I'm sorry I did that to you, but
it's fine.
Oh, thank you, Alyssa. But coming back to Kate. But yeah, you playing as Kate, or even Alyssa, or even Juliet, there's all sorts of emotions going on. So playing as somebody who has had to make emotional performances, has this kind of changed your perspective of how you receive emotional performances? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I've got it. I don't think so. I mean, I've always, and maybe it's because I've always been an actor, so like it carries up, like it's the same as like, I've acted in a play. So then when I see people in a play, like it just makes me like respect the craft more. I feel like, if anything,
Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Once you see how the product is made, you start to appreciate. Because I was even watching your stream, and you're more excited. Right now, she's playing. If you're on stream and you're watching Twitch, you are Dayeanne Lincoln, if I'm right.
I am, yes.
Dayeanne Lincoln. I will link it in the description down below. She's on Twitch. Amazing. And I was watching your stream today, and you're playing Final Fantasy VII. And you got right up to, what's the character's name? But your friend Bree voices at it.
Yes,
Aerith, thank you. It was just losing me for a second. But Aerith, and I feel like you got more excited because it's your friend Bree. And it was that. Yeah, it's like that emotion of like, you appreciate the craft because, it's Bree.
100%. I almost I did start crying when I like started the game and you first meet her. I literally teared up and like had to just take a moment because it was just this thing of like, this game is so huge. She's been working so hard for so long. Like I've heard about, I've been there for her when she's talked about frustrations regarding things, and like, so I don't know what she's gone through, but I know she's gone through so much, and just for it to be out and for people to be appreciating it, and it was just like, I was just feeling all of that on a smaller scale with her, and it's overwhelming and delightful, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could really tell that you just like really felt for that moment. And I knew why you were, because you talked about it on the podcast.
Yes,
Gaming and Gabbing.
We're still waiting to do our whole episode on it. Amber hasn't quite started playing yet, but we'll do a whole Brie appreciation show, I'm sure.
Nice. I'll be looking forward to that. One question for me personally, if I can come back to Kate Marsh for a little bit. I didn't write this down, but this is something I've been personally thinking about. Now, Kate Marsh is a religious character. Are you religious at all in that way?
I grew up I went to Catholic school for 13 years and grew up going to church. Not crazy, strict religious by any means, but I definitely know that world. So
I was gonna ask, do you have like a personal connection to that, or did you have to really study for that role? Like, what was that like?
No, there wasn't really a connection to it. I'm not involved with the church anymore. It does come in handy a lot for acting kind of things, of just like really knowing that world though. And it doesn't really play into Kate. You know, it's a huge part of her, but if you think about what she talks about and does, it's not really the focus. It's more of just the basic emotion of feeling alone and left out, and it's all of that. So it wasn't really, I didn't have to like get into a religious space by any means to work on it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I was just mostly curious for myself. I was like, I wonder if she had to like study for that role. How does that work in voice acting realm? But no, you did a fantastic job with Kate. Like, you really felt for that character a lot, and it has to do a lot with your voice acting. Yep, you're welcome. Real quick for our YouTube audience, Liz was just finagling with camera one.
I'm a dum-dum and forgot to delete last week's video, so my memory card is full, and Adam wears the exact same thing every week, so I can't tell which one's from this week, which one's from last week. So we're going to be on camera number 2 for the rest of the episode. My apologies.
Hello, camera 2.
Next time.
Yeah. Which is at a weird angle on us, but that's okay.
I look good at that angle. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, cool.
Yes, girl. Get the good angle for you. Just work it.
But yeah, like it's that was just something I was wondering about. But now coming back to the whole emotions in video games here, I've started to notice that like not a ton of entertainment outlets, right, will rely on video games for getting your emotional presentations, your emotional takes on things. They only focus on music, movies. They kind of ignore video games to give you kind of an emotional spark there.
Yeah.
Like, why is that? Is it
video games are underappreciated as a whole in media. Like that's, I mean, and we've talked about this multiple times. I think it's just that because it's video games, that's not their first thought when they think of art or entertainment. Yeah, it's not there yet.
I think also that video games have grown so much so quickly that they haven't caught up. Like the idea of these like video games that you play for a story is new still and foreign, like to them, to the people that are kind of reporting on this and whatnot. I mean, I feel like it's only, I don't know, hasn't been that long, or let me rephrase that. Like it's, Life is Strange came out as kind of like a game changer, and I know there were ones before it as well, but that's like the last 5-6 years. So I think people just automatically are like, oh yeah, video games, you just shoot things and kill them. Like they don't realize there's a whole genre of basically movies that you play.
Yeah. No, I talked about it a little bit on I made one video essay on the channel. I was about to say link up here. I don't know where my finger would go on the screen with camera 2. I'm just going to point somewhere and it will appear. There you go.
Here.
Ta-da! There it is. But no, we were talking about the history of video games, and it really started in the 80s with Nintendo, all history aside. But even then, it was marketed for children.
Yeah.
And because that was the 80s, it was so soon. And even then, you know, it was marketed to children and it grew and grew, but it hasn't had enough time to really go into a new market, kind of like how Axe body spray is. It was marketed to middle school boys. Try marketing that to, you know, middle-aged men. I don't know. But that's the thing, is that it doesn't have that time, like what you said. It didn't have that time to transition into a more mainstream thing. And also probably something else you would also know, because you're also in film, TV. You are now doing a project. I believe you're doing a project. Are you doing a TV series with Scooby-Doo Remaster? Is that right?
So it is a fan-made project. It is a fan-made series that we are funding for right now, and it is a darker twist on the Scooby-Doo stories with a kind of the vibes of Riverdale and Sabrina, not Sabrina the Teenage Witch,
the new one that's on
the new
Netflix?
Sabrina. Yeah, so like a darker vibe, keeping true to the classics. The creator is a hardcore fan, super nerd, so there's definitely full respect to the original, not trying to, you know, blaspheme there.
Yeah. No, that's awesome though. Like, but yeah, no, like, by the way, I can't wait for that. Like, you were talking about it on your podcast, and I was like, that sounds fantastic.
I'm so excited. That's the thing that's getting me with the quarantine. I'm like, what are we gonna film? When can we film?
I know. Yeah. That's gonna be terrible. Like, because you want to go out and do projects. You want to go out and craft your art. I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast with Chris D'Elia, and they were talking about how as comedians, this is the longest they've been not on stage, and it's just super weird for them.
Yeah. It's amazing all the content that's coming out though like artists are putting out digitally, like how all these musicians are putting on shows from home. People are getting access to watch musicians live that like they never would have seen before. So some really, really cool new stuff is coming out of this as well.
No, it's excellent. Like, we live in a good time. I shouldn't say we live in a good time for this, but
technologically wise, yes, we live in a good time for it.
Yeah,
because imagine if this were to happen
in the 90s.
Oof.
Yeah, in the 90s. Like, we would be so disconnected.
Oh my gosh, it would be horrible.
Yeah,
that would be very tough.
Yeah, it would be.
That was before memes were popular. How would we cope without memes?
Oh my goodness, you live on memes.
Yeah, it's true. I do live on memes. They're my bread and butter and my oxygen. They are my everything.
I know.
So before we start to wrap things up in the conversation, we have some social media answers. If you follow us on Twitter, at Gaming Groceries, or if you follow us on Instagram, Games and Groceries, all one word, or check us out on the toxic wasteland of Facebook. You can go ahead and do that if you want to do that to yourself. But I ask you questions about the conversation, and I want to hear your feedback from it. So we have two answers. The question was, what are some great emotional performances you've seen in video games? And this goes back to our audience as mostly Life is Strange fans. We have first from @Commander Nikki, who says, saying goodbye to Garrus in Mass Effect 3. That's a big one. Also, like a lot of Life is Strange. Save the Bay. Kate on the Roof. Farewell. The ending of 2. Yeah, Kate on the Roof just wrecked me.
My gosh.
I almost let her jump until Liz saved the day.
Until I told him not to choose that answer.
Good job, Liz. Good job.
I try.
Also, Abzu, which shows you don't even need dialogue for great emotional performances. A good one. She says that video games get me emotional all the time. But yeah, I mean, those are some great examples. I believe, did you also say that you haven't played Mass Effect yet?
That is one of the ones that has been... It was suggested so many times it came up a lot in our NPC episode. It came up a lot in our this week's episode, which is all about video game soundtracks. We had so many suggestions for Mass Effect. I did actually just buy the whole trilogy. It was on sale. Was on sale on Humble Bundle for like $12. So I got all 3 of them. I was like, okay, I'm going to understand Mass Effect.
Yes. Oh, by the way, for the soundtrack one, I was so happy that Diddy Kong Racing got on the soundtrack. I love Diddy Kong.
Someone suggested that. I was like, are you trolling me right now?
Oh, man. And then you played it. I was like, yeah, Diddy Kong. Yeah. Diddy Kong Racing.
Yep. Well, we have a full 7+ hour playlist free for anyone to listen to on Spotify. All of the suggestions.
It's a good list. I mean, if you need to work out at home, I mean, you gotta get yourself pumped with Diddy Kong Racing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's got some Doom stuff on there.
Yeah.
But she also says lots of Life is Strange, of course. And she also said, Kate on the Roof, the farewell episode, and Before the Storm. Yeah. But yeah, definitely. That hit hard. We even have another way to answer that. The second answer is from @Cito Sweet Home, who says so many in Life is Strange. One of them being saving Kate, the ending, and then Before the Storm 2, and then we also have a mention of Metal Gear Solid 5, Quiet's Last Tape. I have too many to mention, but we have 2 answers that relate to saving Kate on the roof. And I think that was a huge one because I feel like that's when you knew this game was real.
Yeah. That is definitely like the big, well, I mean, Chloe getting shot, you're like, oh shoot. And then, then the roof scene, you're like, this game is okay. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And I feel like that really set the tone for this isn't going to be just tugging at heartstrings. This is going to be real life situations that happen every day, except you have rewind powers.
Yeah.
And I know you're a huge advocate for mental health, including, by the way, while you're on the podcast, definitely, can you talk a little bit about Take This organization and how they help with mental health?
Yeah. So speaking. So I am an ambassador for Take This, which is an organization that works to end the stigma of mental illness, mental health. And they do a lot at conventions. So a huge thing, what they try to do is, they educate. You can go to their website for tons of educational materials, different resources of, from free to paid, like apps and websites and all that for mental health. And other than that, they at conventions, they try to create these rooms, what they call AFK rooms, which are these really quiet spaces that you can go. If you've ever been to a convention, they can get extremely overwhelming. So they're just these quiet, safe spaces where you can go in. No one's talking. They usually have coloring books all over the place and just kind of little things for you to do and just reset. And so that's what a lot of our fundraising that we do on Twitch goes towards. It goes towards the supplies for those rooms and renting out those spaces for those rooms and all of that. So do check out their website, takethis.org. Like I said, it's got that resources page and explains all that they're involved with.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try to link that down below. I'm making a lot of promises here when I'm linking down below, so I better.
I'm not writing anything down.
I am trusting myself a little too much here. But yeah, no, like I know you're a huge advocate for mental health. Definitely for the takethis.org. And I told Liz about that, and she just got really excited because
I was just like, that sounds like heaven, because I do not do well in like crowds. We went to a concert that was held at like a nightclub, I think last year, and I had a panic attack before they got on stage.
Oh no.
So that was fun. It was a little too crowded for me. So yeah, I don't do well in crowds. And when he said that, I was like, that sounds amazing. I could use that in some places.
Yeah.
Because that just sounds I like when he told me, I got like a huge smile on my face. I was like, that sounds wonderful. It's perfect.
Yeah, they're really great. And the people involved, one of them, Dr. B, he's always on so many panels on mental health at all of these kind of nerdy video game conventions. So like any panel that has any mental health panel that has Dr. B on it is always a really great one to go to, and I guarantee you'll find him on at least one panel at pretty much any nerdy gaming centered convention.
No, it's really excellent that you're providing for this, because I feel like I don't have the statistic in front of me, but I feel like a lot of us, us gamers, I lack of a better term, we there's a huge group in this subculture that has a lot of mental health issues, illness, and it's good that we're actually advocating for this. It's good that we're making this aware. And I think Life is Strange did an excellent job into making that a real thing to actually cope with and deal with, and learn how to help people with that or get people treated. Just to start a conversation about it.
Absolutely. I mean, Life is Strange is what got me on this path, literally, because of my involvement and because I was Kate, I was asked to be on a TwitchCon panel in 2017, which is how I met the people at Take This and began working with them, and it kickstarted my whole kind of work with mental health, because I hadn't ever really thought about it that much before, and then I was like, oh my god, like, yeah, this needs to be talked about, like, we all have something, like, why are we hiding?
No, that's really awesome. I again want to thank you for your work in that, because
thank you so much.
Yeah, like really, like it's definitely a noble thing to do, to actually let people express how they're feeling, so that it's not a stigma anymore.
Yeah.
And I know it's kind of like I'm sure some people think like, oh, there's always these mental health awareness things, but that's the thing. We have to make it so much a thing, so much awareness going on, so that's no longer a stigma to say that I need help, I need counseling. Especially if I can recommend one episode from Gaming and Gabbing, if I can recommend any of them, it's your episode with Hannah Tell.
Oh,
That was a really heartfelt episode. I really felt for it. And Hannah Tell, if you don't know, played Max in Life is Strange. And Hannah talks about how she needed to step away from the dream and work on her music because of her mental health getting degrading and what Hollywood was doing to her. But
it's a tough place to be a sensitive person, sensitive soul. It's just it's hard on you. You need to understand yourself and what you need and when you need to take breaks. It's a lot.
No, it is. It's I applaud you for that conversation, because it was both very fun. It was a very fun conversation to hear about all the names of her animals.
Oh gosh, her zoo.
Yeah, she has like a little zoo of like lizards and
fish,
what's the
cats?
Fish.
Nice.
One of them's name is Wilbur.
She got mice. Oh, I don't.
Oh, she got mice.
Yep, she just got mice. She was like, somebody gave me a cage, so now I have to fill it. I was like, oh, Hannah.
What?
She was no. I was like, stop. You have so many pets.
But she sounds like such a sweetheart and such a kind soul. And,
she is.
And it just sounded like she made the right decision to focus on herself and her passions rather than what Hollywood wanted her to do.
Honestly, if anything, like, Hannah is a lot more like Kate, and I'm a lot more like Max in real life. Like,
really? Interesting.
Yeah, she's very religious, and she's like very sweet and sensitive, and I'm over here it's just awkward as all, trying to live the life with my anxiety. Like,
No, it's really cool though. Like, I mean, again, I can't recommend it enough. Gaming and Gabbing. It's on Spotify, iTunes, everywhere. It's pretty much just everywhere that you can plug your ear holes in.
Pretty much, yeah.
Why do you say things like that?
I don't know.
We say ear holes too. It's just something that comes out of your mouth when you're doing a podcast for some reason.
Liz, don't ear hole shame me now.
You're so strange.
I mean, you married me, so there you go.
Life is strange, guys. Life is strange.
Hey! It's like Pee-wee's Playhouse. Like, that's the word of the day.
Oh, jeez.
But, I guess wrapping up this conversation, because, again, I don't want to take any more of your time. You're very busy. I can't remember if we were doing this pre-show or during show. That's the one thing about podcasts. I don't remember what I said on the show or in real life. But even though we are in a pandemic, we said this in the beginning of the episode, you're still busy. You still have things to do. You still have priorities with your Twitch channel. So again, I want to thank you for taking the time out here. But just closing out this conversation, little last words from each of us, I guess. Last thing I want to say is just like video games can provide a deep, meaningful, impactful performance. And I think voice actors can really lend their talents to video games so that we can spread more awareness and, spread that emotional performance there. But I guess those are my last words, is that give video games a chance, even though you've tuned into this gaming podcast and you're probably a gamer yourself. But
and they probably don't need to hear that message.
You still need to hear it. But Day, any last words?
Well, I guess thank you to everyone who is a fan of Life is Strange. I've kind of just been swept up in this amazing ride of people that love this game and accepted me and into their lives and hearts as Kate, and it's just been amazing, like being a part of all of it and being a part of such a compassionate community. Like, that's the thing, like this video game sparked and created a huge compassionate community where people like care about each other, and it's really beautiful to see. So I'm very grateful.
Yeah, man. Liz, do you have any final words? And we're passing the talking stick to you now.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm not good at the last words part of the show.
You have the talking stick now. It's part of the...
Well, why are you talking
ritual.
Then?
I don't... I also have a talking stick.
Oh, okay.
Plot twist.
Great. I don't know. I just... The way I think about it is that video game actors are the same as regular actors.
Yes.
So they have the same job that the people who are acting in the like with their physical body or even animations, it's all the same.
Yeah.
They have the same job and same goal. Deal with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
We
just want to bring art to life, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love it. I mean, again, Dayeanne, thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for agreeing to come on the show. I don't know. We already plugged take this. We already plugged your channel, your Twitch channel. Is there anything else I missed that you would like me to plug, or anything else people should look out for?
I guess I'll just say that in regards to the Scooby-Doo project, the project is called Mystery Incorporated, which, yes, we know that there was a cartoon that had the same name. The creator really loved the direction it took, and so kind of like a nod to it, taking the same name. We are still up on Indiegogo. We reached our goal, so now we're staying up for a few more months, and so if anyone, wants to donate our way, it'll only make the project bigger and better, and we'd really, really appreciate it. Oh, and I play Velma, by the way. I didn't say that, but yay.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
I think I saw it on the IMDb page, too, that she's playing Velma. I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah, cool.
I get
fun.
to be nerdy.
With all that said and done, we want to thank you again, Dayeanne Hutton, for coming on the show. We thank you again for leading the charge for mental health awareness. We really thank you for that. But other than that, thank you again for listening to this week's episode. Thank you for watching us on YouTube and dealing with camera 2 that's filmed on a webcam. It is fine. We love you so much. Other than that, you can check us out on Twitter at Gaming Groceries, Instagram, Games and Groceries, all one word. If you haven't yet, definitely hit that subscribe button and a notification bell so that you know when all these episodes come out, as well as our monthly video essays. You can go ahead and do that. If you enjoyed what you liked, if you enjoyed what you heard, definitely hit that like and the share button so that more people know about the Games and Groceries channel and they can hear these little hiccups like that. So, thank you for that, Adam's brain. Good job. High five. But with all that said and done, thank you for watching this week's episode. We'll see you next week. Have a good week.
Bye.